Greetings, grasshoppers. Welcome to this episode of the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden, and if you're watching on one of the many places on the internet that this show is streaming, look up into the post and make sure that you're on the page where you can comment and I can see your comments. It's the very first link in the post. Come on and join us over on this page. Promise you won't miss anything in the transition. Today, we get to talk about, well, my favorite subject and the one that I talk about all the time, bots, obviously. But we're also talking about a really specific thing with bots. We're talking about how to humanize. So this is a conversation that I've had several times over the past few days about how to put that human element in your bot. And there are a lot of ways to do this. I think that the thing that I am constantly fighting is this perception that a bot is something like that interactive voice response system that occasionally you call into, whether you're calling the IRS or the cable company or whatever, and you have to, you know what I mean. You have to listen to a phrase and then repeat a word, and then sometimes it doesn't hear you right, and you end up screaming into the phone and feeling like you're looking like an idiot, all in the name of convenience on some end. Bots are nothing like that. Hey, Aaron, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show today, Aaron. We're talking about putting that human side into bots because most people, when they hear the word bot, they either think about Russians and Twitter, or they think about like an interactive voice response system on somebody's phone. All stuff that is just kind of weird and wild and out there. That most automatic communication makes us feel frustrated and invisible. Okay. So how do you make a bot that someone actually wants to talk to? How do you make an experience that's engaging and inviting for people? How do you take a bot, which is essentially an automatic reply system, and make it into something people want to interact in and play in and have a good experience in? So that's what your show's about today. So glad you came to see me. And so the first, I think I've got 6 things here, 6 ways to put some humanity back into your bot. First up, oh, my favorite, darlings. Not the easiest one by far, but my favorite. It's video. I love some video in a bot. I love some nice, short and sweet video. Now, not a lot of people feel at home in front of a camera. I think I was born in front of a camera. I think the doctor slapped me and then somebody else handed me a microphone. I am odd. I am unusual, all right? Most people don't feel that comfortable, and I get it. But for video in your bot, you don't necessarily have to show your face. You can do voice over some slides. You can do voice over some animation. You can do a lot of things that will help that process become just a little bit more human. If you do get in front of the camera, bonus points for you. And I understand how nerve-wracking that can be sometimes. The more you practice, the better it gets. But putting a 2-3 minute video in your bot of who you are, what you do, and what makes you unique, or your service is unique, that is golden. That is golden for humanizing your bot, because they actually see a human. You know what I'm saying? Tish is here. Welcome, Tish. Thank you for that hashtag. It just makes me feel like a rock star. Okay, so video. We've got in the bot, you can do probably about 4 minutes max. 3 minutes is better. But you can also put those little tiny 3-second videos called GIFs. Now, You can get these from anywhere on the internet. They can be about your favorite, your favorite TV show, a little reaction GIF. They can be just about anything. Those bad boys are everywhere. But you can also, just as an alternative here, you can also kind of record a little GIF yourself, of you doing something, or maybe your dog. My office assistant is my dog. You can get super creative with those GIFs, especially if your bot has a really light and funny personality and tone. Get ready, put on that blue tutu, because I know you've got one, I've got one, and do a little dance, record it, put that right in the bot. This is stuff that makes people smile. It opens them up. It gets them ready to have a good experience. And this is simple to do. The little 3-second guys are super simple to do. So contentmakers.net is here. Hello. It is a freaking party all of a sudden here. I'm so glad to have you all. So video, darlings. By the way, if you need some light and tips, contentmakers.net is your guy. He's putting out some great stuff lately. So video, love it. Record it with your phone. There's so many ways that you can be creative with video. You do not have to sit in front of a video and read from a cue card right here. You do not. You do not have to look like a television commercial from 1995. You do not have to do that. You can be creative with it. You can be fun with it and be funny with it. If that reflects your brand, lead into that, because people really respond. Hey, Adam, good to see you today. Party time? Excellent. Absolutely. Okay, here's a way to humanize your bot that is very simple. And all it consists of is using an option that Messenger has for you in there. ManyChat has it, where you can add somebody's first name. So instead of saying, hey there, you can say, hey, Adam. You can use somebody's first name. It's publicly available information that people have made public. And so you can use that in somebody's bot. It creates that just a little touch. Okay. People do that in emails a lot of times. But putting it into a bot is an excellent touch. And it really just takes a couple of mouse clicks and you've got it in there. Okay. Using images in your bot. I had a conversation with a client this morning. Aaron, it was you. We're talking about those images. We're talking about, okay, what do you use? Where do you go? You don't want to put stock photos of a guy drinking a thing by a water cooler that means business. You don't want to take a picture. You don't want to use a picture of 7 people jumping up in the air. You know what I mean? You don't want to use stuff that's overused. You don't want to use anything that looks fake. So where do you go? How do you produce images for your bot that are going to humanize it a little bit? One place that I like to go, there's your usual free stock photo sites, right? Pexels. Pexels has video, free stock video too. It's pretty cool stuff. Check it out. But there's Pexels, there's Pixabay, there's Unsplash. There's a lot of places. There's a lot of places that cost money too, but I'm not interested in paying for photographs at this time in my life. So there are a lot of places that you can go. One place that I really love to go that has photos that are kind of unusual is Death to the Stock Photo. deathtostock.com. And those folks are consistently producing stuff that is just a little bit more eye-catching to me. It's just a little bit more, this is a human being in a natural pose right here. This is not 75 people staring at their cell phones and laughing. You know what I'm saying? It's something that it resonates a little bit more with me and my brand. So that's a great place to go as well for pictures. Also, boop, Bitmoji. You know it. If you've ever taken a ride inside my chatbot, Spinning Dragon is constantly putting out little Bitmojis of me. And what that is, if you don't know what it is a site where you can create create a little person that looks like you. And then once you have that avatar created, it puts it in 600 different cartoon poses and images and stuff. It is fantastic. When you want to express an emotion through a little picture of yourself, it is awesome and free, may I say, as well. Or if you know a photographer that wants to get exposure, find a local photographer and simply ask. Yes. Very good. Very good, Adam. It's a lovely thing to find a friend that you know is good that you can cross promote a little bit. Especially if they're starting their business. I know that the pictures that I use, Adam, on my Bitmoji, allow me to throw this in the comments. You will like it. Bitmoji.com and also deathtostock.com. And let me type that as well. I think it's Death to Stock, but I think the full name is Death to the Stock Photo.com. Okay. I know watching me type is scintillating, but this is good stuff. So you're going to love it. Okay. Very good. Now, we were talking a little bit about, cross promoting friends, photographer friends as well. If you look at the thumbnail for all of my Facebook lives, it's me in like little ninja poses and stuff. That was a trade agreement with a friend who wanted to have some exposure. It was several years ago, but that's absolutely how I could get professional pictures done when I was just starting out my business, because she needed a website. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, good tip, Adam. So, using images in your bot. I use them all over the place. I don't want to create a text wall, because a text wall, which is either a text message that is just huge, it's like it could be seen from space. Don't ever do that. Or like 7 text that are shorter, but 7 of them in a row or something like that. It starts to, here's what that creates in a bot. In a bot, it takes away from that feeling of having a conversation. When I'm sitting across from you and I'm having a conversation with you, I am checking your nonverbal body language stuff constantly. I'm always explaining tech to people. So it's vital that I be able to understand where that person is at in their understanding of what I'm saying. So I'm always checking, okay, how are they responding? I'm giving them opportunities to respond verbally, non-verbally, and I'm doing that stuff all the time. So when you're doing that in a bot, the way that you do that, because you have absolutely no idea what people's nonverbals are, right? They're staring at their phone. They're looking at this message maybe 3 weeks after you wrote it or 6 months after you wrote it. It depends on how long you've had your bot. So a way to give people that feeling of being in a conversation, even though a human is not right there with them, is to put images frequently in the bot. I know it's weird, but what it does is, especially if they're funny, it breaks up the text. It gives just that little bit of silence. People aren't constantly reading. You've given them a little break, something kind of fun to look at. It breaks that up, and they're able to kind of have that reaction that they would have in a regular conversation. And then you can spend a few more text bubbles talking to folks. I know that this got absolutely technically deep really quick. I didn't mean for that to happen, but I know you're hanging out with me. Yeah, definitely must be able to read your clients. And so particularly sometimes that's difficult in a bot, because you really are writing, when you're first writing it, you're sort of writing it into a black hole, which is why I always recommend testing. Everybody, testing. Anyway, knowing how that conversation goes, knowing that it's a few beats from me, it's a few beats from you. And the way we represent that in a bot is you put different stuff in there. Images are excellent. That's why GIFs are excellent as well. Those little 3-second movies. Those things are excellent in making it feel more like a conversation, even though you're not sitting across from them. So very good. Here's another thing. I'm just full of tips today. Folks, if you have any questions as well, just drop them down in the comments. I will see that stuff and respond to it as I get it. The talk to a human button. I spent a whole show on this about, I think it was 3 weeks ago. We did a whole show on the talk to human button. Why is that important? Why does anyone care? Will anyone even push that thing? People, will they be even interested? And then what are you going to do if somebody says, yeah, I want to talk to you. And then what if you don't know? What if, how are you going to get back to them? ManyChat has a little thing that you can set to notify people when they are being summoned, which is really great because then that allows you that opportunity of at any time when you are having an adventure in my chatbot, at any time you can hit summon RJ and I will be there. I'll be there within 24 hours because I check my ManyChat every day, but it does notify me on the back end immediately. Hey, somebody wants to talk to you. And then I get back to him as soon as I can. You set your expectation right there. You say something like, RJ usually gets back to people within so many hours, or RJ pays attention to these messages in the morning and picks them up then. And then, you get to set that expectation. People don't expect that you're going to be back at your desk immediately. But adding that talk to human feature, it just, even if people never use it, they know that you're in the background, that you're around, that this is not an unattended inbox. You know what I'm saying? Brigetti is here. Oh, good. You signed up to Death to Stock. Great stuff right there. I am telling you. So the talk to human button, super cool stuff. Super cool stuff. And that's like 3-4 text bubbles that you have to write to get that thing going. It's a great service for people. I don't have very many people click it, but the people that get to talk to me within a reasonable time frame, that's something that people really appreciate. Okay. Here's another tip. This one's great. You're going to love this one. So for years, many, many moons that we've all been, doing our own businesses and trying to get our names out there and doing our own marketing, we've been trained to talk in a certain way. We've been trained to kind of stuff the conversation with keywords or hit on someone's pain points. Or, all of the different stuff, show that we're experts in our field. We've been trying on all these costumes, okay? And it's worked up to now, but I think that stuff doesn't necessarily work anymore. And it especially doesn't work in a chatbot. You see, my friends, our Facebook Messenger expectations have been set. We've been using this thing for years, and we talk in a certain way in our Messenger, don't we? We're not using a whole bunch of jargon and weird stuff in our Messenger unless we're talking with a coworker about that new fabulous computer program that we just made. We're not usually using jargon. We're not usually, we're not usually doing a ton of prose. We're doing quick little hits. Quick little conversations, catching up with somebody, making sure everybody's on the same page. We're doing those kinds of conversations. We're doing, hey, what's for dinner tonight? Did you take the cat to the vet today? That may or may not be in my Messenger right now. We're doing quick little hits. Messenger has been setting this expectation up for years. Do not go within that convention, my friends. Quick little conversational hits, opportunities for people to respond, whether that's just seeing an image and then laughing and nodding because that's so true, Whatever it is, it's quick hits. Don't do the wall of text. You will be so sorry. And talk like a human. Talk like you would talk to a friend. So I have a lot of friends in the digital business, and we all do, entrepreneurs, all of that stuff. I actually picture one of them. I picture helping one of them when I'm writing a bot. And it helps me be clear rather than clever. It helps me write things in short sentences that are very easy to grasp, especially if you're on the go. Listen, if you've got a messenger bot, you know where people are reading those messages, right? It's on their phone. Why are they on their phone? They might be in between appointments. Hopefully they're not waiting at a stoplight or driving. They're checking their phone because they're out and about and running. Do you want to give a master's thesis presentation in that thing? You do not. No one will grasp it. You need to give information, totally educate people, but do it in a way that people can understand and pick up and think about that idea on the go. Talking like a human, being clear, using really, not using all of the huge words. This is all you only have so much real estate to be able to catch people and really hold them with a message and really teach them something. So talk like a human, talk like you would talk. Adam says we have to talk to each other as though we're sitting around the coffee table. Yes. Who has brought the snacks to this live stream? Please let me know in the comments. Yes, we have to talk to people like that, because when we start kind of going off into all of these different directions that marketing has always told us we have to do in order to be seen and heard, you don't have to do that in order to be seen and heard. Clear over clever every time. Let me give you a couple of examples, or a couple of just something to think about. If you are just sitting down to write a chatbot, I recommend, unless you're a person who's super, super into writing stuff on a computer, you can compose off of a blank screen on a computer really well. If you're that kind of person, you can totally just jump right into the software and start composing. I'm that kind of person. I get it. But if you're not that kind of person, I would suggest a stack of Post-it notes. I talk about this a lot. Why? Post-it notes, you can only write so much on each one. That's a huge bonus. That will keep you within the physical boundaries of having a conversational tone. That Post-it will. Don't get the big ones. Get the regular sized Post-its, okay? Write stuff out on those Post-its. Write a sentence or two on every one. This is like, you really want to craft your message. You really want to be personal in that message, and you want to use language that's very, very easy to understand. If you're having a lot of trouble doing the Post-it note method, there's another method that I'd like to recommend, and this will help you. It'll help you kind of really be focused on how you talk, the things that you say, the personality that you're putting into talking to someone. And so what I'd like you to do, and if you're familiar with Google Docs, this will be super easy. You can go on to Google Docs, and there is a feature in there called speech to text. You can talk right at your computer and have it translate into text before your eyes. And that way you can start picking up on what are your conversational speech patterns. For me, my conversational speech patterns, I'll tell you right now, I totally recognize them, mostly because I live stream all the time. But my conversational speech patterns are, whenever I tell like kind of an interesting joke or whatever, I'll break off and go, anyway, with about 5 A's in it. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of a turn the channel kind of a thing with me. I also call people grasshoppers quite a bit. There are a lot of things that I kind of pepper my language with in my conversational tone that I wanted to also put that into writing my bot, because be clear, use your personality. This is going to help you a long way into writing something that is so much more conversational. The conversation, the art of the back and forth, that is where the real value of the bot lies. Because, and I read this book a long time ago. Yeah, Google Text has saved me. Yes, absolutely. You can do it with other stuff too, but text to speech is where it's at. If you're really having a hard time writing this stuff, people have a less hard time speaking. And so you can totally start with that. About 10 years ago, I read this book, and it was all about conversation. It was all about that kind of back and forth that we kind of trade, we invest when we have a conversation. When I read an email, I am not invested in that email whatsoever. Occasionally, once in a great while, once in a blue moon, I'll go, you know what? That thing was awesome. I'm going to hit reply. Once in a blue moon, I do. But as for being an exchange, as for being an investment, like an emotional investment or an intellectual investment, I don't make one when I'm looking at something that is one-sided. I assume that thing is trying to advertise to me anyway. But when I invest in a conversation, then that is a whole different level of engagement that you can have with people. Once you have people investing in a conversation, then once they start experiencing value from whatever education you're giving folks inside the chatbot, then you're really forming a bond with them. And some people get into the spinning dragon and the chat bot that I have and everything. And they just, that's just not their style. I had one guy say, and I'm not kidding you, I need more value in my bot, in a bot up front. Thanks anyway. And he unsubscribed. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. There are people that have way different personalities out there that present things in a different way. That's great stuff. But you as the chatbot writer, you creating your own stuff, I want you to think about being clear over clever. I want you to think about how it is that you talk. And I want you to, if you have the Post-it notes, structure out what a conversation looks like on your closet door, on a spare piece of wall. Think about what a conversation looks like. Imagine someone sitting across from you and then start writing what it is that you want to say. Clear over clever. I can't take credit. My friend Megan Atkinson, she told me that one time, and I'm like, oh yeah. So Adam says, whoops. Yes, words are hard, but we have a lot of tools to help us. We do. And when I was very first writing my very first bot, it was really hard because it was like I didn't really have a whole lot of, this was a year ago, experience or examples to go off of. And for my first few messages, I ended up kind of really looking at somebody else's stuff and revamping it a little bit. And that was a fine exercise because it gave me a start. But I'll tell you what really drives people to engage with something is uniqueness. Is, hey, I haven't seen this, I haven't heard this, I haven't experienced this before. We kind of run around in a world where there's not a whole lot new under the sun. We're constantly avoiding advertisements and working really hard and doing all of our things, spending time with our families, getting our biz going, all of the stuff, right? We don't have a whole lot of brand new experiences. Even if people have been in a chatbot before, your bot can be a brand new experience for them. So I encourage you to think about it in these terms, in the terms that, yeah, the automatic part of this is the delivery and the timing of the messages. The computer decides that, largely dependent on whenever that person hits subscribe. Fantastic. But the human part, the crafting of the videos, the audio, the text, the images, the GIFs, the crafting of all of that is a human being, and it's you. So how can you make this reflect your brand? So that is there's so much there. There's so much there, my darlings. And it makes me happy. That there's one more thing that I think is probably the key to all of this. So glad you're listening this far. Love you guys. You're the best. It is the concept of treating people like they're VIPs. You don't have to wait until somebody's paying you to treat somebody like a VIP in a bot. Here's how that works. The messages and stuff like that, you wrote, if you've got had a bot for a while, that stuff is all being served as many times as somebody hits upon it. That effort, you made it one time to craft that awesome 2-minute video that really reflected your brand and welcomed people into the bot. It was awesome. You made that. That's out there producing value and bonding people to you. That's wonderful. Okay. But now that they're here, now that they're subscribing to your bot, getting messages, now's the time where you can choose to treat every person there like a VIP. You can get on, answer questions for them, strike up a conversation. Stephen Healy, that guy, he's crazy. Love him to death. He will get on after somebody has watched a show and say, thanks for watching today. When was the last time you've been thanked for watching a live stream? You know what I'm saying? Getting on, starting conversations with people and treating them like they light up your world. That'll make the bot the most human thing of all. The most human thing of all. People won't even pay attention to the fact that, they've been talking to Spinning Dragon and not me. When I get on there and say, this is RJ, not the bot, is my usual phrase. People feel special. People feel cared about and seen. That's what you want, my friends. Treat them all like VIPs, whether they ever become a paying customer or not, because there's so many relationships that can develop into that could be beneficial for your business. Not just the paying customers, referrals, collaborators, friends, deep, deep friends. So that's what I've got to say today. I am so happy that you are all here. I see some of you have been hitting that type live to get show reminders. Do it. Goodness. Love to have you here all the time. I go on Tuesdays, Thursdays, 1:00 Central Standard Time. On Wednesdays, I go on with my friend Steven, and we are building a bot live. We are building a bot for the Live Video Hub. That thing is crazy. And we are having a wonderful time. We decided to do this thing, the Live Video Hub. If you're a live streamer, it's a great place to cross-post your videos and get more eyeballs. And really build an audience, all free, all for fun. It's a volunteer project. And I'm writing the bot for it so people can find shows that they like. So we put that show on every Wednesday, and he acts as my client and I act like myself. So it's not really an acting job. So please tune into any of that. I would just love to have you. If you'd rather have a shorter audio version, I got a podcast as well. It's also called The Bot Signal. I'm friends with Alexa. I'm on everywhere that there is to be on. So man, you guys have made my day. Thanks for being a great audience today. Because I just don't know what I don't know what I'd do without you. You know what I mean? I love giving out this information. I think it's so important and it so needs to be heard that we need to humanize our marketing and we need to make it more like a conversation and less like a less like a drive-by mugging. Sometimes marketing just feels like that. Anyway, oh yeah, totally, Alexa. Love my Alexa. I also have it trained to hear a different word to turn on, which is why it's not turning on right now. Cindy Harrison, you're here. Hello. Have an awesome weekend yourself, my love. I hope that those painting things are going well for you. My friend Cindy does some demo painting, some free painting classes online every weekend. I hope that those are still going strong. Cindy, we haven't talked in a while. We need to catch up. Yeah, conversations are great. You know what? They are. You find out some stuff in a conversation. You engage in a conversation. You get to know somebody. That's what I want my marketing to be for the rest of my life because I am tired of the other stuff, babies. All right. So that's all I've got for today. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. And that's it for now. I will see you in a bot.